Hi guys, welcome back to this week's episode. What a week. I've had some incredible responses on the previous video. People have chipped in with their experiences, their comments, their opinions. It's really been an interesting week to get such a big chunk of feedback regarding last week's video mainly focused on Hot Wheels RLC drops. Just past experiences from other people, how they found it. For some people it went smoothly, for some people it didn't. I've unfortunately fallen into the latter bracket. There's been they're building quite a track record with these drops and sales, and it's not a good one, I'm afraid. I don't want to turn this into a Bash Mattel segment. That's not what this is about. The main thing is just, it's hard to fathom that a company of this size can have so little regard for returning customers, and there's just this gap in the communication. We hardly ever know the reasons why orders get lost, or they get refunded, or cancelled, or sent to the wrong addresses, sent to the wrong stuff gets sent, damaged goods get sent, and there's just very little in the way of feedback. Even my situation, I mean, I took it up with Mattel's customer service this week, and they basically came back and said, look, there wasn't an active membership on my account when I placed the order. This was for the Advance Skyline last week, although I had double checked that I did have an active subscription on the Monday when they sent out the reminders to be sure that you renew your annual subscription if you haven't done so. So I double checked it. It was supposed to expire the day after the sale. In hindsight, yes, I probably should have played it safe and just renewed immediately when I had the chance. But then also, I've had quite a few people say that they had active memberships, but because they used the shop pay payment method while checking out, and you can't really see it. I've blurred it out in the previous video. I also used the shop pay because it was the last payment method that I did use when placing an order on the Mattel site, although that was for the NFT packs. It wasn't for an RLC drop. And the theory going around now as well is, if you did use shop pay, they compare the account, the email pass, or the email address that you use on that. They double check the membership against that email, and in my case and in a few other people's cases, those aren't the same ones. I have a different email address for RLC purchases, and a separate one for anything that has to do with NFTs. So I've got the same email address for all of my NFT wallets and marketplace logins, that sort of thing. So I like to keep them separate, and I don't understand why that would be an issue. Also, my counter argument with customer sales was, even if they did check the right accounts, and I didn't have an active membership at the time that I did the purchase, it's supposed to, as with any other sale or any other drop or any other product that they sell on the RLC side of things, they're supposed to include. The shopping cart system includes a membership, a $10 membership with your car automatically. If there's no active membership found on your account while placing the order, just one gets added to you. You can go and test. You can go and test it now. If you don't have a valid RLC membership, if you try something like the Street Freak AMX that's still in the shop, if you try and buy it without a membership, one automatically gets added to your order. So why didn't this happen with mine then? So I'm probably leaning towards the shop pay glitch rather than my membership actually being expired on the day that the sale dropped. And the same thing. I get that initial sort of generic message, and then nothing after that. I can reply. I've replied twice per response that I got, and there's just nothing to follow up with. And then that brings me on to the whole Overdrive subscription service that launched a couple of days later. Now, I gave my opinion quickly in the previous video regarding that. It wasn't a good look, especially, I mean, the forums and the Facebook posts, and even here on YouTube, the videos, that there was just an inordinate amount of complaints and people that had orders cancelled. The sale just seemed to run so long that they must have run completely over the maximum allotted set amount of items that they had for sale. I mean, the stock, I don't think they would have had enough stock to carry all of those, or to ship all of those orders anyway. I doubt it. I think that in itself was probably a bit of a glitch. So the fact that they have this Overdrive subscription come out a couple of days after probably one of the worst sales in the last year, maybe even more, it just didn't seem, and I mentioned it quickly, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but it's not a good look if you have all of these issues and then suddenly you have a subscription fee that you have to pay quite a bit of money for to sort of paint over the cracks. That doesn't sit well. The whole argument would be, why should we need the Overdrive subscription? Why should we have to reserve each and every car beforehand? What is happening that we can't just show up and purchase the cars if and when they're available? I mean, a lot of us literally sat here and watched the timer tick over and immediately placed our orders, and everything actually did go smoothly. It didn't. There were no hiccups along the way that I could remember. I recorded the whole process. Seemed perfectly fine. One of the smoothest ones ever. And I mean, if you run out of stock, if the items have sold out after the whatever 1,000 mark they have, 35,000 cars, then so be it. But instead of tackling the whole bot issue, which they've always been silent on, we've had no feedback whatsoever about what measures are in place to combat that anyway. Now it feels like we're having to fork out another $100 for something that shouldn't be necessary if the whole system was working correctly. So now we've got like $100 band-aid for this problem, and it's not going to go away. I know that they are limited. I mean, it's already sold out. I checked this afternoon. It sold out, I think, probably over the weekend. I'm not sure. I didn't track it. There were mixed feelings about that as well. Some of the people said, well, that the fact that they had difficulties would have motivated them to get it. Others said they would have just gotten it anyway, and then the rest of us just said there's not a chance, no chance. I mean, that $100, that doesn't include any cars. You still have to pay your $10 subscription fee, and then you pay full price for the drops as well. And it just doesn't sit well with me. I mean, for $100, I'll just keep the $100, and probably there might be 3 cars down the line this year that I really want, and I'll just buy them off the secondary market and keep my money. So. The fact that you don't get anything included for your $100 except a spot in the line ahead of everybody else, I don't know. You'd really have to have, and there's no definitive list of cars that will drop this year. And if we go by like the last 2 or 3 years, there's always been cars that are scheduled for 1 year that just they run into some sort of issue. Again, no transparency. We don't know why this happens. They just keep pushing them back, and some of them actually get pushed into to the next year. So, I mean, that's your Overdrive subscription is only for a year. So, I mean, if it gets pushed from the 2024 lineup to next year, and it's something that you really wanted, you're gonna have to apply for the Overdrive for 2025 if you want to complete your wish list. So that's probably my main gripe with the Overdrive is why should this be necessary? It shouldn't be necessary. I really think that's just a temporary band-aid. I don't want it to fail. That's not what I'm getting at. I mean, some people giving feedback were 100% willing to. They said that they find it hard to attend the drops because of work commitments or because of time zone differences, and I fully understand that. And then obviously you get the guys that collect all of the RLC models, so they want each and every drop, and for that's probably a good idea. If you're planning on getting the whole thing, all whatever, how many cars, 13, 14 cars that they release during the year, if you want all of them, you're a completionist in that regard, then by all means that's fine. But for the rest of us that are very selective about what we buy, you might only get 2 or 3 cars during the course of the year that falls in line with the genre that you collect, or the style that you collect, or the castings that you collect. So yeah, and especially since it doesn't seem to include any of the collaboration drops, not the master set, not the Super Treasure Hunt set at the end of the year, and especially the Super Treasure Hunt set. If you obviously subscribe for 2024. The 2024 Super Treasure Hunt set will only drop in 2025. So that means that even if you buy your subscription now, that it's not gonna last until the drop date for some of those master sets. So yeah, that's basically my 2 cents about the Overdrive. My frustration is just that, yeah, it just seems like a cop out. And please. Leave your comments down below like you did last week. It was fun sort of interacting with people, and everybody had an opinion, and nobody was sort of bashing anybody in particular. The guys that had themselves to blame for not getting the car, like I said myself. I could have prevented it probably if I didn't, if I just resubscribed beforehand and just didn't wait for it to get to the last day, and also if I didn't use the shop pay. I didn't know about the potential glitch, the email address issue. I still don't know. There's nothing confirmed, so I still don't know if that's really an issue. But I'll probably try and avoid it in future. So now I know. So it's lesson learned. We'll move on from that. So yeah, I don't want to turn this into a whole bashing exercise. I know that Mattel is a big company, and the sales are the bottom line is they just need to ship all of their inventory. That's basically it. They don't really care if they, if they have an angry mob at the door, as long as there are enough people buying the rest of the stock. They're pretty happy, and you sort of understand it in that regards. That's the one thing with these cars. And with these collectibles, is you can have, say they produce 30,000 cars and 60,000 people turn up to the door, and 20,000 of them get either pushed out or whatever, worked out, orders cancelled. They don't go through the whole purchasing process, all of the verifications smoothly, and they sit with 20,000 unhappy people. They'll still ship the 30,000 items. There'll be enough people willing to sit through all of that crap and buy the stuff up, or be patient, or just whatever it takes for them to sell everything. And that's probably their sort of argument. The part that they won't say publicly is they'll sell their cars regardless, and that's where we get the short end of the stick. Is there's no sorry, apologies for that. I quickly had to format the card. It's my cue. I'm speaking too long. As I was saying, there are no repercussions for Mattel for having unhappy customers. They don't care if they have 5,000 unhappy customers, 10,000 unhappy customers. There will be enough people to just buy all of the inventory that they ever put out eventually. And it might take a while. Some of the less popular cars might sit in the shop for a while, but eventually somebody will be browsing through the store at the end of the year saying, oh, this thing's been here for a month, or 2 or 3, might as well pick it up because nobody else seems to be picking them up. So they'll ship their stock, and at the end of the day, the bottom line is they make their targets. They sell all of their inventory. They build this secondary market through selling these cars, and I think that's also one of the motivations for the Overdrive subscription is they know that they're sort of losing out on some of the money that people are willing to spend on these cars. So why not push the envelope a bit, see how many additional dollars we can get out of the collectors by sort of guaranteeing them spots in the queue, early releases, early ordering system. You do also have to opt out of the cars that you don't want. So there's that little caveat as well, that if you forget, or you're not, you don't keep an eye on them, you're going to be buying cars even if you don't want them. So yeah, something to just bear in mind if you did sign up for Overdrive. It is an opt-out system if you don't want one of the drops. Otherwise, it's going to be signing you up for all of them, and you, like I said, you have to pay full price for the cars. Nothing included in your subscription fee. So yeah, that's basically it. Sorry, it's turned into a bit of a rant, I suppose, but just wanted to give some feedback, my view, and I've included some of the views from some of the guys that I've spoken to and chatted with. You can go and check the comment section on the previous video as well. It's an interesting, if sad, read. So yeah, do yourself a favor, maybe go read through that. People learn their lessons the hard way in the collector's game. So maybe 1 or 2 tips that you can pick up and help you get that next sale pushed through a little smoother, and maybe not get the cancellation notice the next day. So yeah, thanks. That's it for this week. Sorry, it ended a bit of a rant video, but please leave your comments down below. Go check out the comments in the previous video. I'll link it up top. There's some interesting info, some interesting tips in there. We can all help each other. If we can't get feedback from Mattel customer service, then we can get feedback from each other. See if we can't dodge as many of the glitches as we can. Hit the subscribe button below if you want to get notified of future videos, and I'll see you again next week. Keep up. Cheers.